way I see it, I'm lucky to be alive right now. Even as he watched his life trickle away, as all of our lives are trickling away, with the sands of time. Like sand in an hourglass, these are the days of our lives. Okita felt no resentment for the cruel turn his fortune had taken. Perhaps it was that very attitude that made him feel so drawn to him. Please don't give up. Even if he'd accepted that his death was close, I didn't want it to be too close. You're still alive, he grinned. True, and as long as I'm alive, maybe I could do somebody some good. Don't worry, Chizuru, I won't give up. Good. I don't know. There's something about the way they talk about lives that seems like so contemporary and almost video gamey, in that the idea that you can use up your entire life. I don't know, just the framing of it seems like chronological or ahistorical or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's just me probably, but there's something weird about it. I wonder if they really thought of lives as something you could just use up that could be shorter and longer as at will in or in the mid-19th century, like they do in Information Age, where everything is digital and everything can be consumed and expanded and created. It's, yeah, video games, and philosophy. So, anyway, that's just a random tangent. The future was still uncertain, but so long as Okita believed in himself, there was hope, and I felt myself smiling. Anyways, I was about to tell him that, hope or not, he needed to go back to bed when... Gah! What? He doubled over in pain. It's the creepy music. Oh god, he's gonna fury, isn't he? He's having a fury! I reached out to support him. His body was trembling and he felt like he was about to collapse. Is your wounds, do they hurt? He shook his head. There it is. Hi, cutie. I miss your green eyes, though, a lot. As I watched, his hair turned white and his eyes turned red. Okita. It's nothing. It'll pass soon enough. Wait, had he felt this before? How many other times had this happened? Is this... Was it the Fury bloodlust? Do you want blood? She's just like, here, take it. Just right here. Just, we'll seal it up and just get the IV. Come on. Because that's a thing that existed in 1850. No, not for another 50 years. No! His reply was practically a shout. Don't want that. I don't need blood. I don't want to go crazy. His voice shook as he spoke, though whether from pain, fear, or both, I couldn't tell. We both seen plenty of Furies go mad with the thirst for blood. Oh, that's tough for Okita, though, because he is all about control. And when he doesn't have control, things go bad. You're in so much pain. If I lose, if I go crazy, how am I supposed to help Kondou? Oh. Oh, you're thinking about your boyfriend Kondou. Okita had drunk the water of life to make him a more effective soldier. All he wanted was to help Kondou. What about me? And my needs? If he lost himself in the bloodlust, he would be denied that one desire. How long have you been doing this? How horrible to be all alone, tormented by pain so great that even breathing was agony. I'm fine, I can handle this. What kind of pussy do you think I am? His snarl of anger turned into a moan of pain and he bent over squirming. He seemed to think he could endure through sheer force of will, but... You don't look fine at all. I could hear my voice break and tears began to well up in my eyes. I wrapped my arms around Okita and held him tight. Yamazaki hadn't appeared, which meant he was likely fast asleep and wouldn't be waking up anytime soon. What was I gonna do? Give him blood, give him medicine, or make him endure it? Or is there a have sex option? No? Well, give him blood. I mean, exchanging bodily fluids is pretty much the same thing. Even in a very modern philosophical sense. Sex is the trading of genetic information, which is a really bland way to compress it. But information nonetheless, even emotional information. Blood, also information. You can kind of bring those all together in a way. And so we would be trading emotional and yes, we're gonna give him blood. Let's do the sexing. Let's bang it out. If I can heal you with sex, and by that I mean transferring blood, which is in demon and in monster lore pretty much the same thing, as we said earlier about how vampires work. What Kaoru had said about demonic blood suppressing the fury bloodlust had made sense. If giving him my blood would make his pain abate, then there was no reason to wait a second longer. I pulled out my sword, drew my blade across my arm. Ow! There was a brief moment of pain, and then a line of blood welled up along the cut. Chizuru, what the hell are you? Just shut up. Just shut up. Drink it. Just drink it. Held up my arm to him, and his eyes widened. By the time my arm reached him, the cut had already closed, but the blood still sat there on top of the smooth skin. Demon. Demon blood in me. Heal your bullet wounds, and you won't go mad. His eyes had fixed themselves to the blood on my arm. They looked hungry. Just want to help you. If you just do it, bloodlust would go away. I was sure of it. Please. Please, I need you. He said nothing as he moved his face toward the blood shining on my arm. When he was close enough that I could feel his breath brushing across my skin, his mouth opened, and he ran his tongue across my arm, the blood disappearing behind it. Sorry. His voice was low and almost embarrassed. I blinked in surprise. There's nothing to apologize for. Yeah, maybe still. I'm sorry. He looked down at the floor, his face strained. Although he was still pale, it looked as though the bloodlust had subsided as his hair and his eyes turned back to their normal color. You really stressed now? He nodded and let me slide him into bed without objection. Oh, Okita. I could see just how much pain he was in, and my heart went out to him, but at least his suffering has subsided. That was something to be happy about, at least. And the best thing is, I'm a blood machine. I could do this all day, for everyone. That has weird metaphorical connotations. Now that I said it out loud, being a... Like, obviously humans are already blood machines, but we've been putting together blood and other bodily fluids. Sorry. Basically, Chizuru is a sex machine. She's just the best. That was something to be happy about, at least. I'm a sex machine. The next day, Okita seemed to be healing at a much more rapid pace. I didn't know what Kaoru's intentions were, and I still couldn't bring myself to trust him completely, but there was no question that my blood had helped Okita. But seriously, what I meant was that we've got lots of blood to spare, and we get it back easily, and we heal our wounds. And so it's just like the perfect relationship. Although it is one way, it's one directional, and it's obviously using me to help him get to his own gains, but I'm doing it myself. I'm fine with that. That's what I want. I want him to be happy. So yeah, it's totally consensual. And that's kind of what makes it a little more romantic than any other ways that this has even threatened to gone down in the past when other people wanted my blood, like when Sinan wanted my blood. Not consensual, not okay. Sometime later, Okita's injuries had healed completely. And look who's up looking good! Look who it is! Nice new jacket! And, okay, your gloves don't match, but we'll work on it, bedhead. These things are hard to move in, aren't they? I wouldn't know. I've never tried them. Yamazaki shrugged. Okita shot him a pouting look. Right. How stupid of me to ask you to back me up, Yamazaki. He mumbled something else under his breath, then turned to face me. Well, what do you think, Chizuru? Do I look weird? Yes. You look weird. I was at a loss for words. He'd cut his hair much shorter. He certainly looked different. They're very nice. Yeah, hard to believe that when you won't look at me. I mean, that is... Why do I feel so embarrassed? I would have understood if our positions were reversed, but this... What's going on? You're saying I'm so damn good looking that you've gone and fallen in love. That's not true. My cheeks felt hot enough to fry eggs, but I did my best to keep my voice calm and cool. Yeah, guess not. Now he looked sad. That wasn't fair. Oh, had I been too harsh in my denial? Had I actually hurt his feelings? I haven't actually said anything yet, but... Whatever, Okita. You look very handsome. I still couldn't bring myself to meet his eyes. I see. Disarmingly handsome, even. When I finally looked up, I saw a triumphant smile plastered across his face. He tricked me! Whatever he looked like, he was still the same Okita inside. You done? When are we leaving? Yamazaki's voice cut through Okita's gloating, and his smile immediately disappeared. Okita just hates this guy. As soon as possible. Why am I dating such a douche? Date bad guys. If we're leaving, we should let Dr. Matsumoto know. After all, this is his house. It'd be pretty rude to just leave without telling him. Alright, I'll ask him to drop by tomorrow night. Yamazaki seemed to have been expecting both of our responses. Okita, I want the doctor to take one last look at you before we head out. Okita grimaced. The commander doesn't want you fighting if Matsumoto doesn't clear you for duty, got it? I was right. We were headed for battle. Shogunate had ordered the Shinsengumi to keep peace in the Kofu Castle region. Marching to Kofu would take the Shinsengumi past the town of Hino, which had once been home to Kondou and Okita. Kondou hoped they might both have the chance to visit. Hijikata, however, was against the idea. I bet that son of a bitch would just love a reason to keep me out of the fight, wouldn't he? I couldn't bear to stay quiet any longer. I think you're wrong. Hijikata's only worried about you. Really? His eyes narrowed as he looked at me. Then why the hell's he taking Kondou off to battle? Hijikata was the one who got him shot in the first place. He knows he fucked up, and now he doesn't have the balls to face me? Okita, give him the benefit of the doubt. Okita's eyes burned with cold anger. He had reasons for it perhaps, but that didn't excuse the fact that he was acting like a child and pouting because he'd been left out. Hijikata's not like that, and you know it. He'd never let his emotions stop him from doing what had been done. There was a harsh edge to Yamazaki's voice. If he thinks it's necessary, he'll set his emotions aside completely. Yeah? Tell me what's so necessary about taking a man who can't even lift a sword to a fight. Yamazaki glanced over in my direction and pursed his lips. Kondou was shot in the shoulder. He can raise his right arm higher than his chest. My breath caught in my throat. The chance of that sort of wound healing completely was, well, it wasn't good. The only thing Hijikata gives a shit about is the Shinsengumi. He could care less about Kondou. I have to go. I'm not gonna let Hijikata use him like this. Okita tended to lose sight of reality a bit, where Kondou was involved, and that often led to his being overly critical of Hijikata. In truth, though, it only illustrated just how much he cared about both of them. It's fair, it's true. He really cares about Kondou a lot. And not for me, but that's okay. Fine, fine. True to Yamazaki's word, Dr. Matsumoto came by the following day after a short examination of Okita. He sat back and smiled with satisfaction. You're completely healed. Congratulations. I was thrilled. After waiting for so long, at last Okita was healthy again. He looked sideways at me and chuckled. You're more excited than I am. Okay, yeah, I guess so. But with good reason. At last, he wouldn't have to suffer from those horrible wounds anymore. How could I not be happy? You're going to Kofu, huh? He looked worried. You planning on... sorry. Or are you planning on taking her with you? If you don't want to, I'd be happy to take care of her. She's coming with me. I'd rather she stays where I can keep an eye on her, you know? Now, who's the one who got you killed last time? It was this guy. It was this lady right here. I did it. I'd wanted to go with him, of course. That he'd wanted me to go was more than I dared hope for. I felt my cheeks turn red. Why are you blushing, Chizuru? You're not coming down with a cold, are you? I can't take you if you're sick, you know? He was grinning, and there wasn't even a hint of genuine concern in his voice. You're mean. He only grinned wider. Frickin' bad boys. Frickin' trolls. After packing up what little belongings he'd brought with us, we headed for Kofu Castle. As a fury, Okita had to wait for the sun to go down before we could leave, which meant that we were a little late to join the rest of the Shinsengumi. The Imperial Army is in good position. Good for them, I mean. Yamazaki had returned looking slightly harried, and the news he'd brought had been bad. Where are Kondou and Hijikata? The chief is with the rest of the soldiers at the Shinsengumi camp on the hillside. Hijikata has gone back to Ito to request reinforcements. He's what? Okita's eyes went wide, but only for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was angry. So he leaves Kondou in a bad position and runs off to Ito, huh? Yamazaki scowled. He left for Ito on the chief's orders. Yeah, after he forced Kondou to give those orders. Okita and Yamazaki glared at one another, just jaws clenched. Stop it, both of you. This was hardly the time to be arguing. Blaming Hijikata wouldn't have solved anything. You're supposed to be fighting the enemy, not each other. What is this going to accomplish? I could feel furious tears pushing the corners of my eyes, but I swallowed them. After a long moment, Okita coughed and mumbled something almost too quietly to hear. Let's go meet up with Kondou. Understood, Captain. And just like that, the tension between them was gone. I sighed with relief. Before you go... I knew it. Do you think you could play with me a little?